Darlings, it's Mummy, Sybil Brunson. It's New Year's Eve. Um, Here we are. We're at the end of this decade, not just this year, but this decade. And we're about to start on the adventure of a new decade. Here's Mummy's Christmas tree, and here's our fireplace. I've shown this to you before. There's our wonderful fireplace, and here we are in the suburbs. We're in the mainline towns outside of Philadelphia. I wish that I could get the lighting right on this because the tree is so much prettier. My phone always wants to say, uh-oh, Sybil is doing a video. We'd better compensate for the lighting. I actually should just turn off all the lighting, but this is all the lighting off, and the tree is simply being floodlit as if it's a crime scene. I should really just put yellow tape around the whole thing. There's our Christmas stockings. There's George's, which his mother knitted for him, and there's mine, which my great-grandmother needle pointed for me. And there are some Christmas crackers that we didn't pop open yet. I'm afraid they may cause an explosion. Perhaps that's what happened in Nashville. Perhaps there was really just a Christmas popper accident that happened. I've shown you these Christmas ornaments before, heirlooms and things. That was a telephone that was my rattle. When it was a little baby. And so we put that on the Christmas tree, and shades of fairy tales and all sorts of, there's all sorts of machinery on here. There's a pen that belonged to my great-grandmother. She was a great letter writer. Here's another pen that belonged to my great-grandmother and my grandmother. And they were both, there's mother of pearl. She was a letter writer. There's my grandfather's eyeglasses, which I put on the tree. There's a salt shaker that in carnival glass that belonged, or earlier, that belonged to my great grandmother. And where's the other one? There's a sterling one from England, and there's all sorts of different things that were ornaments and stuff. There's the deer that was bought for my first Christmas. My parents always bought each child their own Christmas ornament for their first Christmas. There's a pair of glasses that belonged to my great grandfather, and I put those on. So the tree is covered with ornaments and strange things. I adore those. These are these wonderful little stars that you fit over the Christmas lights, and I love those. Anyway, darlings, I'm here to talk to you about New Year's and about being present and mindful and grateful. Oh, by the way, everything that Mommy has ever written or posted, or all of the things that I've ever done are in that little black hard drive. If that black hard drive was ever lost or stolen or burned, that would be everything that I'd ever created. Isn't that amazing, our technology? And I really do have to splurge at some point and get it copied. I wanted to show you something because there's a metaphor here. First of all, it's lit brightly enough, I think. Those are lemon seeds that I planted a few weeks ago, maybe over a month ago. And look, they're coming up. Isn't that lovely? It makes me feel so wonderful. Here are my cycads. There's another cycad over here. Here's a cycad. I got a note from George Sweet, one of my favorite people on Facebook, who said that his cycad was dying, and he said, help, can I help him? And I wanted to reassure him. And there's, not only I wanted to give him advice, but I wanted to give all of you advice and mention the metaphor of this. Here's a cycad. Okay, and there's its cone. These are as old as the dinosaurs. Their ancestors predate the dinosaurs. That's how old a family of plants this is. Every once in a while, their fronds begin to yellow and curl up and become tired, and they become this. And there's the cone. You can see the cone is very healthy, but you can see that the leaves are going, and that it's not dying. It's resting. We don't cut down an oak tree in our backyard just because it drops all its leaves in November. So you're not to throw these away. It breaks my heart that cycads, like many other plants, are just thrown away by suburban people or urban people because they think they're dead. They're not dead. They're resting. So this is what you do. You leave those fronds on to the very end. Now, these are definitely yellowed and white. They're no longer functioning at all. They're not providing any nourishment. So you take either a pair of very sharp shears or a very sharp razor blade, and you sterilize it with alcohol or with heat or a flame or whatever. And then you cut off those fronds just as all those other fronds. Do you see those other tags there? That's where other fronds were. That's how they grow. You cut them back, and it becomes just like a pine cone. And then you keep watering it. And by the way, always let them drain out. Don't ever let a cycad sit in water. It's like an orchid. They don't want to sit in water. They want to be moist, but they want to breathe. You keep watering it, get some slow growth, some slow release fertilizer. They make cycad fertilizer and orchid fertilizer that is pebbles that sits, you can actually see them sitting on the, see those little white things? Those are slow release fertilizer. You sprinkle them on the soil, and every time you water, a little more of the fertilizer is released, and you let that cycad sleep. Now this cycad, you could see this one. See all those tags? Those are where the leaves were before, and then they're snipped away. This cycad went to sleep a few months ago after we moved, and I even showed it to you in a tourette. Here it is. Look at these 3 glorious leaves. Look at them. They're like peacock feathers. They're beautiful. This one went to sleep last year. Look, all of that. Lovely. And they make their own clock. They decide their own timing. They're not all going to do it at the same time necessarily. They have their own personalities and their own inner bio clock. So right now, these are doing really well and are happy even though it's New Year's Eve. This one started to go a few weeks ago, and it's behaving as if it's fall. It's on its fall schedule. It's going to drop those. Actually, Mummy is going to snip all those off tonight. And then that cycad is going to sit over here on our hutch, right on its little shelf right there. And it will sit there and it will sleep. And in about, well, I'm not going to say because I don't want to jinx it, but I would say that within a month, little green shoots will come right out of the top, right out of that center, and they will begin to climb. And I will film them. I will photograph and film them as it happens. But right now, this cycad has decided to sleep for a while. And I'm going to close this little tourette tonight by wishing you all a Happy New Year and reminding you that there are cycles in life. There are times to be awake and times to be asleep. Here's 2 little lemon seeds that are coming up in the dead of winter. Look at them, how beautiful and green. They're just lovely. Those are 2 little lemon trees waiting to come up through the ground and greet the world. So, the old, the new, it's all about being present, being mindful, being grateful. Look at my Dracaena marginata, a plant that was thrown away in my old building down in the basement 3 years ago on West End Avenue. I got it out of the garbage. I replanted it. I repotted it. I trimmed off the tops. I took the trimmed off tops and planted them in the ground and rerooted them. Now it's becoming this wonderful little plant on our dining room table. Look at that. Right? You do the same. Find something, nurture it, love it, bring it about, bring it to life, nurture its life. Be present, be mindful, be grateful. Okay? Happy New Year. Remember, everything you see and smell and taste and touch and hold in your hand and behold in your eyes and hold in your heart, all of it is just borrowed. It's all only borrowed. Happy New Year, darlings. Happy New Year.